everybody. Well, hello, dear Bat Mom. How you doing? And anybody else that's joined us? Well, let me, I sound so horrible. I don't want to hear myself talk. I'm a little hoarse today. So I hope everybody's good. Guess that'll hit them. Other screen's kind of jerky. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm jerky. I'm really hoping YouTube doesn't mess with me tonight because it makes it kind of hard to stream. I like to be in the chat too. Since I don't like using the StreamYard chat because it's under Gemma's name and everybody thinks I'm Gemma when I use it. So, hey guys, thanks so much for stopping by the stream. Oh, hey Ryan, how are you? I wish I could have stayed longer. It was a good conversation. We're going to have a conversation Tuesday. I appreciate it. I always enjoy it. Thing is, I feel bad. He actually had more people, but you're good, and I like listening to you. And I got a lot of questions. Like I said in the stream, Native American tribes are a little bit on my weak side. I looked at other things in another way, if you know what I'm saying, and I look at what I'm looking at. You know what I know, and all the research I've done has always been kind of one-sided. I've always tried to look at both sides, but when it comes to the bigger details of populations like cultures and stuff, I more looked at the subject of the study than the culture, which was kind of my mistake over the years, and I've learned to pick it up. But yeah, I have some questions because I'm still a little weak on the Native American stuff and lore, and I'm still finding out tribes that I've never even heard of. So it's kind of wild for me. I've tried to be smart in some aspects, but as I get older, I start realizing I've missed things. We're going to cut it up all right. I'm doing good. Batman. God, no. Sorry. I've been running around the last couple of minutes, like the last hour or so, trying to get some stuff done. So I'm a little ooh until I calm down again. The tribes can be confusing, but they are sure romantic about it. Their tradition. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, some cultures I have delved into. You know, I'm of Viking descent, so of course I looked into the culture. And I've got a lot of other. Once we came to America, we kind of came from mud, so I had a lot of things to look into. But I don't think I ever really delved into all the tribes, and I know my things about the mound builders, especially Adina and Hopewell, because they were big here in Ohio, and I love going to the mounds. I've always been fascinated with them, so I made it a point to know a lot. Well, what I can learn about them. So yeah, it'll be a good conversation because I do have questions, not just about that stuff, but your views on the cryptids. So it'll be a good Tuesday. I really hope it. I'm sure Gemma will enjoy it too. Yes, folks, Ryan is going to be our guest Tuesday for Tuesday Talk. Hello, Vixen. I hope you're good. I haven't seen you for a little bit. I hope you're well and having a good week at least. I don't want to talk too much about it. I want to save some of it for Tuesday. Yeah, I know you are. And that's what I like about you. I mean, because you got into it. You got deep like I did in the biblical stuff and the religious stuff. I got deep into it. And that's good. So I enjoyed that. And I always like writing, widen my mind. And I like talking to people, especially when they're very opinionated about certain subjects that they've delved into head first. So, and you're one of those people, and it will be a good conversation. You just have to forgive me because I'm not very articulate. Gemma's more articulate than I am. She's good. And she rambles good. I'm not so good. Now, if you had these conversations probably 10, 20 years ago, you might be surprised what comes out of this head. So, but yeah, tonight, the video I picked for her tonight was one of her older videos about Bigfoot. and them following, or is it Bigfoot following people in the woods, stalking people in the woods, as I should say. But Vixen, I hope you're good. And anybody else that's just watching in the background, thank you for joining me. Yeah, we'll start the video here pretty soon. It all depends on how things run, if I'll be in chat. Last time I did it, I couldn't even be in chat. So I had to, I should leave the mic on anyway, so I turn it off, let you guys listen. I get the snoring and hacking. I have questions. So it'll be a good back and forth. Yeah. I can't wait. Back to what I'm saying, I'm having some weird, every time I try to stream by myself on StreamYard, I like to run, I don't have this problem when I stream with Gemma, but on Saturday nights, it's like every time I try to do Gemma's replay, I try to be in chat, especially when I'm running the video. But somebody told me I really should talk through the video, and if they want to watch the video without me, they can go watch it without me. So, which makes sense. But I try not to because, I'm not. Vixen and Ryan, you guys would have I should have you guys both on at the same time. You guys are both like, you guys should talk too. Vixen, man, she's got her knowledge going too. YouTube doesn't dare tempt the fates when Gemma is around. Isn't it the truth? Well, it's just really weird because I do have trouble when I do Gemma replays. And like I said, last time I had to I couldn't be in chat. I had to get rid of YouTube altogether while I replayed her video, and it was weird. Sometimes I have problems, sometimes I don't. It's just messed up. Because everything I got is like brand new. So I know it's not me. I mean, I'm running on Wi-Fi, but it's literally right above me. I have a good connection. So it's just weird. But what do you expect? Oh, now we're going to have a good conversation between them. Either that or YouTube is dude and goes, oh, it's true. Hi, Pammy. How you doing, huh? But yeah, you don't mess with Gemma. She'll get that shank out. That Jersey shank out. You don't want to mess with that. Like, now you know why I don't interrupt her. And when I do, I feel bad. She beats me up. No, she just shortens my chain down in the basement. I am good. About as good as I could be. It's been a weird end of the week. I was incapacitated Wednesday night at the hospital. Then again Thursday night with Pop. And nobody knows about that because I haven't brought it up. But yeah, my Pop ended up in the hospital Thursday night. Wasn't fun. We were a little worried. He came home yesterday. And that's why I got to stream with Gemma. And because for a minute there, I didn't think I was getting to. But yeah. He's good. His sugar just dropped way too low. And we found out what the problem was and we fixed it, which is good. But yeah, it's been a fun week. So I was kind of happy to be around Friday night. Today's been just trying to catch up through the 2 days that I didn't get anything done because I was dealing with other stuff. Yeah, they did. Vixen, I should have sent you the link. You would have liked the show they did tonight. It was a good show. I felt bad. I had to bail. But I had to get some stuff done before I stream tonight. And I'll try to let you touch on some of that stuff Tuesday too, Ryan, because I think Gemma will be really fascinated by the things you say too. She's excited for it. Hey, Latra, how you doing, young man? Sir, person, you. Oh, Roger, you snuck in too. Hello, Roger. Roger. I hope you are well. Like I said, I don't talk as good as I used to. Freaking dress and everything caught up with me finally. Uh, Good. Everybody's coming in. Good crowd. That's good. I'd love to see everybody. Like I said, I picked a good one tonight. Let me make sure I get the name right. Or it'll be on there. But it's Stalked in the Woods by Bigfoot? Question mark. Yeah, I figured, well, she had another one, but I figured this would be a good lead in for Tuesday. So, and I hope you're well, Roger, and I hope you're well too, Latro. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday, and we'll have a good Sunday tomorrow, or today, as one may say, since officially. Now, remember, folks, tomorrow night, no, not tomorrow night, Monday night, you have a lunar eclipse, which should be pretty cool because all of America gets to see it. Some people say it'll be a blood moon. I was told it'd just be a big shadow, but we'll see. I've heard two different things. It's prequel to the Ryan episode, I guess. Yeah. Well played. Yeah, because that's one of the reasons I've been trying to catch your interviews is because I don't want to hit always on the same subjects, but there is subjects that we need to touch on and have to, and remember on April 8th, we have a total lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, so it'll be good. But anyway, better talk about two things at once. Yeah, and then I want to touch upon one of the main subjects that you talk about, and one of the reasons why you do what you do is to correct some people. Because, I get tired of people, miscategorizing. They think skinwalkers are everywhere, or Wendigos are this, and they're calling, things what they're not really what they are, and it's just maybe somebody around. They get a few people together who really know this stuff to get them to understand that this is here, could this be misconstrued with this? Yeah, possibly, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's what I run to touch on the most, at least part of the conversation. Because I know that's one of the reasons why you do what you do is to correct people, or not correct them, but to kind of set them in the better lane of things. I don't like saying correct because you don't want to come off better than somebody because we're all the same. Yes, the entire lore and traditions have been lost in the internet. They just twist them up and screw them up, and people misinterpret stuff or just assume. And yeah, I think it's important that we kind of put some things in perspective, as one might say. Let's cross our T's and dot our I's in the right places. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if any of that made sense. Kind of made sense to me, but I'm kind of rambling today. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I want to have you on. Because I get so tired of people saying, hey, what was a skin? Oh, it was a Wendigo. No. It's just like, dude, come on. I may not know everything, but let's get these perspectives right. It's like Dogman. I get why people think, well, that may be a dog. But see, that's what I'm saying. I just want to save all that for later. But there are some good questions out there, and these guys are asking you good questions and trying to get it out there. And I give them credit for that. No, I didn't miss any. Everybody's listening to me ramble. That's amazing. I'm sorry. I don't have no fancy hair or anything. So. Yeah, I am too. Really, be honest with you. So I missed the last interview, and I kind of wish I was there with her because I really didn't like that guy. Sorry, but I didn't. I got to see the interview, and when I finally got to sit down and watch it, I was like, "Holy crap!" across the eyes and dot your T's. I told you, I'm in a funky mood. It's been let's just say from about Wednesday to yesterday was just insanity at its best. But I will say Wednesday night, I got 10 hours of sleep, and that's the most I've had all my life. I think the most other than that was probably about 5 hours. And that was a long time ago. Maybe so. I think the most I get now, if I'm lucky, is 3 to 4. If I'm lucky, and that's usually in the morning. So, yeah, I was real happy about that. I feel good. Now, I don't like the fact that they had to force me to sleep, but because they didn't want me to be like entirely asleep because they wanted to see what my body does when I slept without hooking me up to a bunch of electrodes and stuff because I always rip them off anyway. So an actual nurse sat with me all night long by my bed taking notes. It was crazy. I think I woke up once and saw her sitting there. She just says, "You're okay. Go back over." She goes, "But you do rock that bed pretty hard." So I was like, well, I'll go back over. And that's my normal. But when I was in slept 10 hours a day, yeah, I'm lucky. I know that 3 or 4 hours is rare. I average probably most of the time an hour, maybe 2 hours, and it's usually from like 7 to 9 or 8. In the morning when the sun's coming up. There are many times that I'm still up when the sun comes up, and I finally tell my body, "Look, you got to lay down. You can't keep." I just tried. Heck, there's been like 3 or 4 days where I haven't slept at all because I'm in motion so bad. It sucks. But, I've grown up with this since I was 2. So that's, yeah. And our REM sleep is very important. But yeah. I keep busy, Pammy. When I'm like this, I have to I stay busy all night. I used to do research for people on Telegram about cryptids and stuff. A lot of it was like about, ancient theories. Were they more advanced than they are telling us or we understand, and ancient technologies. I also did some research on some things I really can't talk about that got me in trouble because they didn't like what I was digging into. Trashed my computer. I've got a bunch of articles I need to work on. Going to have some cool stuff coming up. Good. And let me know when you publish those articles so I can read them. Because I like reading. I just hate reading on the internet. I still like a book. But I do. You'd be surprised. I also spend a lot of time on the dark web at night. Not to do bad things, but you would be surprised the wealth of information, especially about our government. All kinds of fun stuff on. If you look for the bad stuff, you're not going to want to find it because, well, some of it's just honeypots and some of it is very bad. You don't want to be digging into that stuff. Oh, for sure will. I've just been send you the article that details difference between Dogman and the Eve. I can never be able to say that no matter how many times somebody tries to get me to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to call it the Yi, okay? Awi, or how you would pronounce it. I don't want to trash something. I don't want to trash it. I was going to take out and clean up, and I was like, you know what? It's Saturday. I can be casual. So I'm going to be casual. I was kind of casual Friday, but I'd just come home from bringing Dad home from the hospital and everything, and I just wasn't in the mood to put on a tie. So I do like dressing up on Fridays for her. Yeah, we're going to have a real good conversation. Yeah, you send me that stuff. I will read it. You have, if you don't have my email, it's in my YouTube profile. Just go to my page. It's there. Yeah, send it to me. I'll read it. Believe me, I will read it. I love that stuff. It's time for some new reading, anyways. I've read. Things are being updated now, and I'm trying to keep up. New theories, new ideas. It's hard to keep up sometimes. At this point, I don't even like saying Navajo witch, let alone skinwalker. I agree. The only reason I like skinwalkers is I'm drawn to Skinwalker Ranch. I had dreams about this thing, about that place since the late 70s. And once I was told about the place, I was really fascinated in it. And it was just like all of a sudden I was being drawn to that place. I would love to go. At least once go and like spend 3 days there. That's all I need, 3 days. That will tell me everything I need to know. With enough crap that I've seen over my life, maybe it'll give me even some answers. I doubt it, but it probably could just give me more questions. Be careful with those dreams, guys. Yeah, I know. Oh, I am. I'm very, very aware where I am. And in those dreams, I don't have them too much anymore, but every so often I have dreams about that place. And it's weird. But most of my dreams, when I do get a chance to dream, because yeah, it's hard to dream when you dream within 2 hours, but most of my dreams are about war, about old ancient battles, like fighting bloody wars. It's wild, and I remember them vividly. I thought about writing a book about some of them. It's pretty weird. I am glitching big time. Let me shut down YouTube. I guess that might be the problem. And I stopped right away. Okay. I don't know if I was glitching for you guys, but on my end, I was glitching like weird. But yeah, every so often I do get those dreams, and they're really strange. It's like when I first saw the layout of the ranch itself. It was like, I know that place. It was weird. Would you say that me one in the flesh now just want to leave it alone? I'm pretty curious. I'm that guy who always wants to get a little closer, check it out a little better. I like to see detail. I want to absorb what I'm seeing. So I'm not afraid to get close. And believe me, there was only 2 times that I got close. And I wish I had. And that was the Hat Man and the Demon. Those 2 things. No, never again. But yeah, what time we got here? I want to start this video. This upload. The time. How long is that? It's 20 minutes long, but they go pretty fast. And I don't play the end because a lot of it's older stuff. So, or, talking about, older events and stuff. So, let one in the flesh. Sorry. Let one in the flesh. You're okay. If you are having internet issues, try utilizing the TPC optimizer. I tried that. And it helped a little bit. It might be my connection too. Sometimes I get really good signal. I mean, I'm literally right underneath the router. So usually my connection is really good. But sometimes late night, I have some issues. And it's really kind of weird. Met one. Okay. Jeez. You're like me. Get quick, fix it. I pretty much got what she was saying. I did. But yeah, I'll start the video here in a minute. And I'll probably just scan through. Oh, it even paused right when I told it to. I usually play the beginning, But as soon as she goes in, I'll let her say good night on there, and then because she rambles pretty good. Love her. And we'll go from there. But I'll get that started here pretty soon. So is everybody having a good night? I'm going to try my YouTube again. I feel lost without my YouTube on, too. Let's do this. No, I don't want to do that. Let's do this. Thank you. And try this again. Maybe if I come in again later. It only does it. There we go. Let's see how long that lasts. I notice sometimes if I wait a while and then turn YouTube on it, I don't have a problem. We'll see what happens. But Latra, I will check that again and see if that's the problem. I tried to fix it a couple times. My daughter. She's a busy girl. She was in here last night, actually. Lost electricity about half. Yeah, I heard you guys are getting slammed pretty good. I know up by Gemma, some of the neighbors, she said some of the neighbors were up there by her had no power. And we're flooding pretty good. We're having water coming in, so it must be raining. And I was going to say, you should be getting both, right? You're probably getting both all day there. Yeah, I was watching. You guys were getting slammed pretty good. Set your max bit rate and then select the Optimus checkmark. Poof. But on the computer? Oh, okay. I know what you're saying now. See what happens. Because that's weird. And it doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes it's great. Okay. We'll see if that helps. We'll see if that helps. Let's hope. Let's hope it's poof. Looks good so far, so we'll see. I gotta do a lot of maintenance on it. I usually do it once a month, but I do maintenance on my computer every week. Clean it, and then also do all the work inside, make sure everything's running good, optimize it the best I can. Okay, Ashley, I love you too, sweetie. I don't know, I'm in stream. Yeah, I can't spell. So she knows. That was sorry about this, folks. I think she forgets I stream on Saturday nights. Okay. Sorry about that. Now hold on, Ghost. Gotta show us that shirt. Oh, my Dragon Ball Z shirt. Yeah, it's an old one. This is an old one. Yeah, it's an old one. Yeah, we got a little bit of sprinkling of snow, and that's all. Yeah, this is old, man. This is old. Yeah, I kind of been wearing them a lot lately since his passing, just as a tribute. This is one of the animes that this and Speed Racer and Voltron is what got me rocking the anime. Then good old like Cowboy Bebop, Full Metal Alchemist, some of the Gundams, all the crazy stuff that was coming in at the time. But yeah, it's an oldie. Love that show. You know, it's funny because when I was young, I would come home from school. I had to correct it. I'd come home at 3 o'clock. Dad corrected me the other day again. I'd come home from school. We were usually home by about a little after 3. I'd come in the door. Mom would be watching Dark Shadows. Then after Dark Shadows, there would be Speed Racer, then Voltron. And then we had to go outside and play. That was Speed Racer, I think, was the first thing I got hooked on. Go Speed Racer. Yep. Okay, let's rock this video, because that's the whole idea of this stream, is to play and upload. That's why we call it Gemma's Classic. Well, Gemma's Replay. There goes. You're going to get me started now. Oh, here you go, Ryan, before I put on. I don't know if you saw me playing with these Friday night, but here's Goku. Son got him for me. And then, actually, there's a different one of these that you could put him with, but then, go on. Sorry about the blurriness, moving too fast. Yeah, I really like these. These are nice. There's another one of these where he could take his hand off and he could put it on his head. I like this one better. Sorry, I'll be right back. But yeah, I like them. Like I said, I'm still a kid at heart. But yeah, he got them from the beginning of the week. I had him sitting on my desk for a while because of, like I said, he was one of my favorite animators. He's done so much good stuff, and we've lost 3 of them now. We'll see what happens with the stories they held together, I should say. But yeah, let's start this video. Like I said, I'll leave my mic up, and also try to see if I can stay in chat. And let's rock this baby. Let's play a little Gemma. Also, remember, folks, to help support the channel, she has one video, I think, posted already, and I'll show that later for her Monday video at noon. And then, of course, Ryan's going to be with us on Tuesday Talk at 1. And hopefully, if everything goes as planned, I will be there Wednesday night at 10. They don't stick me back. I don't think I'm going back. But I'll be there Wednesday at 10. I believe Pixie is streaming this Thursday, since I kind of screwed things up last Thursday. Well, things happen. So I believe she is going to stream this Thursday at 8. And then Oracles on Friday night. So, gosh, folks. And I'm usually trying to be there for her Monday premiere streams. So you guys will be sick of me at the end of the week. Though I don't really do much in Pixie streams, just hang out in the background and talk and chat. I even try to watch doing that. It's about them. So same thing with Gemma. Even though I'm on the screen, I try to, it's her show. I try not to say too much. So, but let's do this. Let me get this up and running. Screen share. I'm trying to get this down easy because I want to be able to do really good one. I'd like to get to streaming on Rumble too. Okay, there it is. Share. How are we looking here? Let me put me down at the bottom of the box here. And Let's make this screen a little bigger.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to
And
my
let's,
channel. And if you're new here, just welcome. My name is Gemma
can
Jade,
you hear
but
that all
today
right,
we are going
folks?
to be discussing the almost vanished people who were stalks in the woods. Now, I have an almost vanished series on here, and it seems to be one that you guys really enjoy. I'm going to premiere this video as I was asked to do, which I thought was so incredibly awesome. And I want to kind of just get started. On this channel, I've done several videos on the almost vanished, people who either disappeared and came back with strange stories to tell, or people who almost ended up missing one way or another, usually in some sort of encounter involving some unknown entity or creature. I've also discussed with you guys here at length paranormal or
Sound good and
supernatural
everything,
forces
folks?
and
If
or
you let me
entities
know, it'd be awesome.
luring or trying to lure people to their death and doom, luring people further and further into the woods in order to do whatever it is they do in order to make the person disappear, because I don't know. Fortunately, sometimes they come back with wild and crazy sounding stories, which most of the time don't even sound so wild and crazy to many of us here on this channel and in this community. Sometimes, too, they come back with no memory of what happened or how they ended up where they did. Most of the time, when I dig a bit deeper and look years later, the person still hasn't come up with any memories at all of what happened to them. And in the rare case that they do start getting some memory back, they don't want to talk about it. They absolutely refuse. Today, though, I want to specifically talk about the woods. It's one of my favorite topics to cover and discuss on my channel because there's just so much ground to cover, and I love researching. From cryptids to unknown entities to invisible forces not of nature that come to take us humans away to who knows where to do who knows what with and to us. More specifically than just covering things happening in the woods today, in the cases of the almost vanished, I want to discuss people who say they were hunted, to put it in no uncertain terms, as that's exactly what I believe to have been happening in these encounters as well. Sit back, relax, cuddle up under your favorite blankie, maybe grab a drink, because these encounters are truly terrifying. Encounters of people being hunted in the woods and feeling like they're part of the almost vanished. So, as I just mentioned, and I find this so incredibly fascinating, one of the main factors in these encounters is the fact that in most cases, more often than not, the presence or whatever it is felt more than it is seen. Oftentimes, too, it's heard, and it seems to be a sound that isn't of this earth. It's not of this plane of existence, nothing we've ever heard before. To briefly discuss the more common factors of these almost vanishings with you, there's also the complete, total, and sudden absence of sound as well. Everything in the woods just seems to stop, right down to the wind refusing to blow anymore. The state of unidentified and uncharacteristic fear and primal dread that creep into the person at one point or another is brought up more often than not as well. In North Carolina, United States, at a place called Stone Mountain State Park, an avid hiker and outdoorswoman named Chelsea, because I don't use real names and I don't use um, internet handles, I guess is the way to put it. We'll call her Chelsea, tells her tale of what happened to her one day when she was out for a hike in the state park near where she lived in the Blue Ridge Mountains. She claims she was not once but twice stalked by some unseen force or being, and she knew with everything she had inside of her that whatever it was wasn't stalking her to take her out to a fancy dinner. I'll just let Chelsea tell the first encounter for you. Quote, "This happened last year while hiking with my boyfriends and our dog. We had seen a couple of the waterfalls that day and were going to hike to the lower falls. There had been very heavy rain for a few days, and I knew this trail had several creek crossings. I decided I didn't want to get wet and told my boyfriend to go on without me and I would wait for him. The falls were only another half mile or so ahead. Boyfriend and dog go on across the creek and disappear out of my line of sight. As soon as I couldn't see them anymore, I was suddenly aware of how quiet the woods were. No birds chirping or squirrels rustling leaves. I don't usually get spooked, but all of a sudden I had this overwhelming sense of fear and dread. I felt as if something was watching me and I couldn't shake the feeling. I had an urge to run after my boyfriend and started the creek crossing when I saw him come dashing back towards me. He too had an overwhelming sense of dread and didn't get 10 minutes down the trail before he turned back and ran to me. He said he couldn't shake the feeling that something was going to attack me. This was around 11 a.m. on a summer day, so not very likely a big cat or bear would be out at this time, end quote. As I've already explained multiple times throughout and across all of these videos, that sense of dread and unmistakably eerie and oftentimes sudden quiet of everything in nature is very common. Terrifying, as I know from my firsthand account of the Glimmer Man. In her second encounter, she remembers that same terrifying feeling of being stalked and watched creeping up on her, and this time it was accompanied by a strange and unidentifiable sounds throughout the trees above her. She said of the experience, quote, "This incident was very scary because I was alone with my dog. We were hiking the same section of Stone Mountain, but a different trail called Wolf Rock. On the way up, I had seen many trees that were scorched, but could have been due to lightning. I have pics of the trees, just assumed it was lightning burns. Started getting an ominous feeling, so I started picking up my pace to head back. When I was about a mile from my car, I heard what can only be described as a supersonic boom. It shook the ground and rattled the trees. It spooked me and my dog so bad we ran most of the way back to the car. Tried later describing the sound to my boyfriend, but to no avail since I had never heard anything like it. Not gunfire, not a plane, not a rock slide, which I've all heard before. But while reading another person's story on this site, it sparked my memory. They described the sound they heard as a giant sledgehammer hitting a tin wall. That's the best way I can describe the noise I heard. That metallic bang reverberating through the woods. Very unsettling. End quote. What in the world could this noise have been, and where in the world could it have been suddenly coming from? Where in the world, quote unquote, I guess would be the operative phrase here, wouldn't it? Right? It's most likely not of this world. And that's exactly why I think it's so hard for people to come forward and tell their stories, because some of it's just unexplainable and very hard for us as human beings to wrap our head around. This metallic noise isn't exclusive to Chelsea's experience, though, and tends to come up time and time again in these encounter stories. Another noise that I come across often in my research of these specific types of encounters is a knocking sound that seemingly comes from the trees, as though something or someone is knocking on the trees themselves, only there's no one in sight. Another woman who posted on the same site as our
I froze. So you guys can hear me? I knew this was going to happen. Does this every time. Let me try rebooting this real quick. If I hope you guys can hear me. Huh. I don't know what happened. So I froze all the way around. I'm talking, but I'm jerky. Hold on. I might have. We've. Check. Oh, there you go. Sounds good. 1 second. Here you find good. I don't know what. There we go.
Experience though, and tends to come up time and time
Well,
again.
I'm not
in
in YouTube anymore,
stories.
so
Another noise that I come across often in my
answer some things. That sounds awesome, AK. Thank you, Latro. Thank you. The Gorilla Glue thing, yeah, I tried that once before. The heat destroys it. And I agree with the metallic, the portal opening or closing. And that's an often common sound heard, or like a static noise. I've heard some other people describe it in other ways. So, yeah.
my research of these specific types of encounters is a knocking sound that seemingly comes from the trees, as though something or someone is knocking on the trees themselves, only there's no one in sight. Another woman who posted on the same site as our Chelsea here had her very own creepy and fear inducing experience while out in the woods with some friends. I'll call this woman Jamie. This one happened in Algonquin Provincial Park in Ontario, Canada. Jamie was out in the canoe with two friends on a bright and sunny, beautiful day inside the park at a place called Rock Lake. The three friends decided to camp out on the shore of the lake for the night. Once night fell and the darkness came, the wind became quite vicious. It was roaring and whipping and blowing and whirring everything everywhere. In the middle of the night, though, after all of the friends retired to their respective tents or beds, it wasn't specified, the wind suddenly and quite abruptly just stopped. It just completely and totally came to a halt. It was described as if the wind had, quote, somehow been turned off, like someone simply flipped a switch, end quote. It wasn't like it slowed down little by little and became a gentle breeze. That's not what happened. It was roaring one moment and completely non existent the next. Jamie also described there being no sounds of insects or animals, nothing scurrying or roaming about like squirrels or deer. There was absolute and total silence where just a moment ago the wind was so loud you wouldn't have heard someone a foot in front of you without straining your ears. The wind situation alone alarmed her, but she was also overcome with a sense of fear and dread and terror, which seemed to come upon her as suddenly as the wind had stopped blowing. 1 minute, it was just there. All of her senses were on high alert, and the hairs on the back of her neck and on her arms were standing up. I described this exact same thing in my encounter and said it was reminiscent to me of how the air changes right before an electrical storm. The dread she felt was almost tangible. That's how strong it was. Her friends were still asleep, and she was the only one awake and noticing all of this happening. She went on to explain, quote, I wanted to wake my friends, but I thought they would think I was just over worried. The silence was overbearing, and I began to feel the most intense sense of dread I've ever had, seemingly for no reason. I then heard what sounded like loud knocks on the trees in the distance. I don't know what they could have been, but it was making me feel worse and more scared. The wind eventually came back after about 20 minutes, and I tried to get more sleep. I nearly dozed off when I heard a sound in my head, sort of like when you get hurt in video games, like a high pitched frequency that got higher in frequency as it went on. I had an intense feeling of dread at this moment, too, and I stayed up to sunrise and couldn't sleep. I didn't even mention it to my friends because they were asleep and would probably have just shrugged it off, end quote. When she and her friends were all awake the next day, Jamie decided it would be best not to say anything. As they pushed their canoes in the lake to go out into the water again, though, she couldn't help but keep thinking about what had happened the night before. It was obviously very much so on her mind. She was racked with worry and racked with fear, and for what reason? She still didn't have a clue. The friends canoed their way to a place called Rose Island that day, and all but Jamie were jovial and enjoying their trip thus far. Rose Island would change all of that, though, almost instantaneously. While still in their canoes, all of the friends heard these strange and somewhat threatening sounds coming from the woods surrounding where they were sitting in their canoes. So they're in their canoes, and the noises are coming from the surrounding woods where they were going to dock and get out and hike. It was almost like something somewhere out in those woods didn't want them to come any closer. Jamie said, quote, later we canoed to a place in Rock Lake called Rose Island. On this island, as we collected wood for our fire, I began to hear a variety of weird sounds. The weirdest was a knocking sound, which consisted of 5 very low frequency knocks. I could not think of an animal that would make this sound. I have heard woodpeckers, and they are much higher pitched. We then heard what sounded like wood banging on trees, but from different directions and from different directions as well. I don't know what that means, guys. I'm just quoting. Later, we were hiking and I saw a black mass in the forest, which looked kind of like a black bear. We ran away and decided to leave camp and come home because we all had had a complete feeling of dread after seeing it. End quote. So, what are we left with here, guys? Let's unpack this just a little bit.
We know
What was
knocking
this
is a
quote
big thing of
unquote black mass?
Bigfoot,
Could it really have been
isn't it?
just a bear? While bears can be very scary and extremely dangerous at times, black bears aren't so predatory unless you come between a male and its food or a female and her cubs. I know this personally as I have had said mama and cubs come right up to my porch stairs directly in front of my screen door. I have video. A few nights later, I received a visit on my porch from the daddy bear who came and opened up my recycling bin because he smelled a cardboard I had accidentally left there from a frozen pizza. Otherwise, it was all random boxes from shipping and shopping and things like that. Anyways, I just don't think laying your eyes on what could possibly be a black bear running around would be enough to terrify me to run home. Yeah, I'd want to get away from it. I mean, bears can swim, but I don't know. I have a feeling that bear is what their minds came up with in order to make more sense of what they were seeing and hearing. Even though, if you know anything about bears, they mostly
Yeah,
don't
that's
bang wood against
interesting,
trees or make the sort
Ryan.
of
That
menacing
actually makes
sounds
kind of
described by
sense.
Jamie in her
That's a
encounter.
loud thump.
Could this have been a Bigfoot? I wonder because of the strange noises. I have a lot of Bigfoot hunters as friends from being in this community.
Mouth
Hi, Connor.
really too.
And I've looked them up and I've heard the alleged sounds they make, and this somehow rings true to me. I obviously cannot be sure though without more information. What do you all
Never
think?
thought about mountain
Let me know in the
lions.
comments
That's
below.
interesting.
There's another report that I came across that had this strange wood knocking sound. I'll call him Danny, and he says he worked for federal law enforcement at the time of his encounter. He was out camping with a friend in the Chiricahua National Monument area in southeastern Arizona, and I'm sorry if I
Right.
butchered that. The two men decided to go for a hike, and as they were out there deep in the woods, hiking along the trails, the weather took a turn for the weird. It all of a sudden became, quote, unseasonably foggy and gloomy, end quote. And right after this happened,
That
a
is very
series of
true,
bizarre
Ryan.
events took place. Danny
Well, you know,
reported,
we assume a
quote,
lot.
shortly after the fog came in, the last part of the bad weather changed. We heard a strange set of three knocking noises from behind a hanging rock at the top of the gorge
Yep.
we were in at that
Is it
point.
really?
It sounded vaguely like a heavy tool being slammed against the rock in the cadence of two knocks a quarter second apart, a short second delay, then a third knock. This three knock sequence repeated several times from that location. We stopped as soon as we heard it, and we were immediately made uneasy for whatever reason.
3 knocks at
After
a
several
time and
sets of knocks,
basis.
it
Knock, knock,
stopped, and we
knock.
started
Knock,
moving
knock
about
is
50
usually
yards when
something,
we
a
heard the
sign of something
same
not
several
good.
set of knocks from the opposite side of the gorge, then again from a third position that was once again above us on the rim of the gorge near some large monolithic rocks. My friend said something to the effect of, hurry up and let's get out of here. I don't like this.
Oh,
And
you
we
are?
started moving out of
Okay.
there at a
I
constant
thought
jog.
you were
For
from
the next few
Arizona.
minutes, we heard a few more sets of knocks from the three different
Okay.
locations. I felt very much in danger for my life for
I
some
have a hard
reason.
time
At
remembering
one
where
point,
everybody's
we
from
stopped at an
sometimes.
outcropping on the rim of the gorge. We both had our hands on our holsters and had a quick look at the ridge above us. We had instinctively grabbed cover before doing so. That shows just how disturbed we were. When we made it to the trail crossroads at the end of the loop near the visitor center, we had lost the feeling of dread about a half mile back. We went to the visitor center and we asked the ranger there if there were any crews working in the area or if there were any groups of people doing something that sounded like the knocking we had described. She said that it sounded like we heard woodpeckers. I played my roommate a clip of a woodpecker native in the area via YouTube on
My
my
ex had
phone, and the
family out
sound
in
was
Arizona
vaguely
for a while.
similar, but the tapping of the
Never got
woodpecker
to
was
go
much
though.
faster and it
I always
wasn't
wanted to
quite
go to
as deep
Arizona.
toned. He said, well, that does kind of sound like it. We probably just heard that and got freaked out. But I don't agree. But I felt as if it would be embarrassing to admit I still felt something very weird actually happened, so I feigned agreement. We then drove home, end quote. It wasn't until later that day, when they both gave it more thought, that the two realized and decided that what they had heard definitely was not woodpeckers. They had no clue what they had come upon, but were glad to have escaped it with their lives. Could the banging on the rocks and trees be the sign of a Bigfoot about to attack? I mean, it sounds just as reasonable as anything else we're talking about
But
here,
to
right?
just
Our
communicate
last
like
encounter
smoke
for this
signals.
video comes from a woman who was camping in Big Bend National Park with a friend and her husband. That's in southern Texas, United States, if you don't already know. I'll call this one Jill for the sake of the story. Jill explained the terrain was flat and the area was desolate and remote. She and her companions decided it would, quote unquote, be fun to go for a night hike out in the nearest trail to where they had set up their camp for the night. They all agreed it would be pretty easy since the terrain was flat and the night was
Yes,
brightly lit
Arizona
by the
does
full
have a lot
moon
of
and the clear
supernatural
sky
things.
above them. Jill did try and take a precaution though. She
Supernatural
set up
world.
some rock piles earlier in the day when they had hiked the same trail in order to help them if they had decided to hike the same trail again that night, find their way to where they were going and back to their camp without any issues or getting lost. It was just around 10 p.m. when they had all finished their dinner and set out on what was to be a
Remember
most
this one.
terrifying journey through these woods and trails. Jill recounted, quote, the first 10 minutes were pretty uneventful. We were all in good spirits. Suddenly, we hear a scuttling noise from about 50 feet away coming from behind us. Having been
My
used to
dad
animal
would be
noises
jealous
at
about
night,
doing
we
stuff.
wrote it off as a critter. A few minutes later, we heard the same noise a bit closer and sounded like a bigger animal. There are black bears here, but we weren't in the area they're normally sighted. Like I said, the landscape was wide open and we didn't see anything with our flashlights. We were a bit uneasy, but willing to go on. The rock piles had been doing a good job of leading us in the right direction. All at once, I stopped, feeling absolute terror. It's an indescribable feeling I see many others reference. I knew we were in danger. I just didn't know why. I looked to my friend and her husband, who both looked as terrified as I felt. There was no sound, no wind. Then, in an instant, the most inhuman scream erupted, seemingly
Oops.
from all around us. We all
KK.
froze for what felt
Oh,
like minutes, but I'm sure it was
I don't
just a
mind a
few
little bit of
seconds.
crust.
I don't remember making the decision to run back, but the next thing I do remember, we were all running. We
But
had
I
made
have a
it pretty
dragon. I
far
like
out, even though
crispy
I thought I was
anyways.
running in the direction of our camp. I remember scanning for the rock piles I had made, but not being able to find any, and almost turning back, thinking we were headed in the wrong direction, but had this instinct that told me not to. We made a rather large rock I knew was on the route back to the campsite. I also remembered putting a rock pile beside that rock. I went to check if it was there to make sure we were headed back to our campsite. The rocks were still there, but they had been knocked over. This set off all of the alarms, and I told my friend and my husband that we had to go back to the camp as soon as possible. We made it back a few minutes later, and by the time we got back, I was entirely freaked out and didn't want to stay anymore.
Totally
I think
agree.
my husband was as well, but my friend convinced us that it was just wildlife, so we stayed in the tent that night. I don't know if it was connected, but there was scuttling and footsteps around the tent all night long. We did not do any more primitive hiking that trip and opted instead for a campsite in one of the community camps. I've never felt that feeling before or since, and I've been in the woods at night plenty of times. The next day, I went out to check if all the rock piles had been knocked down. They had. I don't think an animal would deliberately go around knocking over the markers. That's what really makes me think it was sentient. I don't know what it was, but I don't want to know, and I'm glad we made it out. End quote. I've got to admit to you all, I have never been camping. I'm not sure if stories like this make me want to never
We'll
attempt
get
it
you
or
there
if they
again,
make me want to go
Gemma.
even more than I already do, because I really do want to go camping. It seems like something was
She wants to go
purposefully
glamming.
toying with them. Again, Bigfoot comes to mind. What do you guys think? That's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments. I'm trying to be more mindful of the comments, like at least for the first day or couple of days,
She
and
gets her
pinning
hands
the
full.
comment that's like the funniest or that makes the most sense or just that I like the most. I don't know. I got to start looking at comments, and I do apologize that I've been neglecting them. Anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and spread the love by sharing this video.
Yes,
Please be
please.
sure and check out the description box to see
Thumbs
what I'm
up
up to for the rest
the
of the week.
stream.
If you don't normally
Helps
catch
the
my live streams, it would
algorithm.
be awesome if you could do that. Come on in and say hi. On Wednesday nights from 7 to 11 Eastern Time, I am right here
Okay,
pulling
this is where
one
I'm going to
card
stop it.
intuitive oracle
Because
for
now they're on
anybody who is in.
Fridays. Okay. Let me get that's a good one. Short little one. So what did everybody think? You're giving me all kinds of little things I want to talk about Tuesday there, buddy. I like that. And AK, I'm sorry about your ribs, bud. But I do like my little on the extra crispy side. I'll eat them if you can't. But yeah, I like that. And the portal thing, she's big on the portals. But see, I think a lot of things use portals. I wouldn't want to camp out in the boonies with nobody around. Been in some campgrounds. I've camped both ways in campgrounds and in the boonies. And sometimes I'd rather be in the boonies out with nobody around because it's more fun. But it's also nice to have people around too. I've been in some places where I think you'd better be. It's best off to be around people. I'm going to turn this off because I'm drinking again. I think I'm going to have to reset some things. Let me expand this. I'm going to be bright for a while. But yeah, let me see. Catch up here. But Gemma's going to have to force herself into the conversation. So, it won't be hard for her because I'm sure she has her questions too. Yeah, I love camping. I do. It's been a while since I've gone, but I've been prepping. Well, see, I'm kind of a prepper too, so I've been buying some stuff, and I'm thinking about getting a camper, at least one I can pull. I love to camp, but it's so hard to sleep on the ground anymore with my rocking and stuff. I get so uncomfortable. But can you imagine me in a camper? What are they doing in there? Yeah, I love camping. That's one of my favorite things to do, camping and fishing. My dad's a big fisher. So we haven't been able to get out because of him. Bless his heart. Come to Arizona, guys. We can go camping. Sounds like a good time. Look for the Mongolian monster. Okay. Sounds awesome. The Mongolian Lean. Oh, I think Mongolian monster moved to Florida. You know who I'm talking about, I think, don't you? He's a good guy. But yeah, I'm up to that. Hopefully soon. I don't go too far right now. He's 90 years old. But yeah, it's getting to the point. He let me go to Jersey, so that could be arranged. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of reasons I do Wednesday show was because I like him. He's a great guy. And I love the fact he just hangs out and talks about, a little, Bigfoot and all that. But, the conversation can go anywhere. And when Sean G was around, and I hope he's doing okay. Last time I heard, he had a bad heart attack again or something. So I pray he's well. Sean was a good guy. Unfortunately, he got tied up with some people who weren't that good. So, oh, do you really? Oh, cool. Forgive the coughing now. Nighttime's when I smoke the most. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's a super nice guy. I met him when I showed up on Sean G's. I just happened to, and then I went from Sean G, Chasing the Truth, to him and Pine Island and all them talk, hanging out in those chats for a while. And I was watching, of course, Steve Stockton stuff. Then Gemma showed up. Well, actually, I stumbled across Gemma in that time frame before she even got into what she was doing now. And that's when she was doing her recovery stuff. And I just happened to wander onto her channel one day because I like watching small channels. And the first video I saw of her was how she almost got took for a scam. And oh, this is too cute. And it's up to her. And she's one of the few people that I stumbled on at that time that was just starting that actually has lasted this long. There's a couple others, but I always like to watch new channels grow. And then I got to know her and we became friends. Bless her heart. I don't know how she puts up with me. I can put up with her. She's easy to put up with. Don't let her fool you. Yeah, she carries that shank, but she won't use it unless she has to. But that's cool. I didn't know you guys went that far back. Ryan, there's back. I can talk. There was probably times we were all in the same chat together. I'm glad you started showing up here. I love your stuff. I can't wait. You send me some of those articles. I want to read them. I've always been so delved into the biblical stuff and the things that go to bump, because a lot of times the things I see are like shadows and stuff like that. The more of the bump in the night stuff. And I might go have a coffin nail yourself. Go enjoy one. So yeah, the cryptid things, I've seen my share of cryptids. Like I said, pale crawlers, rakes, whatever you would. I think I see a difference, but I still leaning more. I'm still kind of digging around in that, trying to get a better concept of, because I know the rake thing became big when they did the creepypastas, and it just fit what I was seeing because I really didn't know what to call them. And then you talked about that night about the pale crawlers, and that made a lot of sense to me. But there are some things that I've seen that I wouldn't have called pale crawler. They look like pale crawlers, but there was something not right about them. Because there were some ones that I've seen that just don't match up with the other things I've seen. Because a lot of them, they all pretty much look the same, but there's been a few things that look like them that didn't look like them. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Oh, I'm sure we all kind of started up around the same time. Yeah. Well, so I was always involved in this world, this paranormal world. But, I move around a lot. And I just found this, and look where it's led me now. But yeah, I think that was probably about the time a lot of us really started to, see and grow. And a tupla, yeah, actually, that was one of the videos I was going to show tonight. Was she did a video on tuplas, and I agree with that too. I totally agree with that too, because they're like the Slender Man. I think that's a tupla, even though there is things kind of like him in other lore. That specific one, I believe, Slender Man is a form of tupla. You give something enough power, it becomes. It's just like manifest. It is manifesting. But yeah, I agree with that. I can't wait to have you on Tuesday. So is everybody else just hanging out in the background? I hope you are having a good time. Once again, I appreciate you guys hanging out and talking. Please feel free. If you got something to say it. Love to have you in the conversation. That's what this is all about. And me and Ryan, poor Gemma is going to feel a little left out, but yeah. I'm sure if I know Gemma, she'll get in on the conversation. So this is right up her alley. And I think she wants to know more about this stuff. She's like me. She's a little more on the boo and spiritual side of things. And she's just now she was just now getting into the big, a while ago, Bigfoot and ETs and UFOs. She's starting to make connections, and it's a good thing. So it should be a good show. I'm really hoping. I'm going to try to make it a good show. And I know she will. Because we wanted to make Tuesdays a little more on the paranormal side, and we end up just winging it. And that's what I usually do on Wednesday nights. So the Wednesdays, and other than the video here on this night, it's usually about you guys. But the Topla thing, I think that's a lot bigger than people realize. I think we manifest a lot of stuff into this world that shouldn't be manifested here. And then the state of this world is in right now. It ain't no wonder why I see the things I've seen lately again. It's picked up real bad again. I was out earlier, not today, but yesterday, after I came home with Dad from the hospital. I went and did some running. I wanted to come home. I didn't want to be out anymore. I literally just said, I'm done looking at this stuff. It was like everywhere I went. And some days are not bad. Some days are just horrible. And then there's been days where it's like almost every other person I see has something following them. And it's like, what the hell is going on? Why is it so bad? But then you go home and watch the news and see everything, and everybody's all stressed out. We kind of bring this stuff in, and then all the craziness, and the veil's lifting, so that helps. And Ryan, if there's any subjects when you come back, and I'm sure you're taking a smoke break, but if you come in, I want to make sure you know that if there's any subjects you want to touch on in that stream, let me know. So anybody else got anything magical going on? I think AK's fixing his ribs. Hope he's eating them and enjoying them. Latro, what you up to? But yeah, my opinion on a lot of this stuff is kind of, I realized it was a little more one-sided after a couple of weeks ago. I try to keep an open mind about a lot of this stuff. I have my share of opinions, and it's like I was telling Ryan, when it comes to our Native Americans here, I over the last year or so, I heard of tribes I've never heard of. It's like, holy crap, am I that out of touch with? I know things, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, holy crap. And then events and stories that have been passed around not only on the internet but throughout family, and like I said, when it came to that stuff, I was always fascinated with the mounds, so I really tried to delve into the Adena and the Hopewell because they're real big here in Ohio and East, and I'm sure up north and out west of us too. I mean, in this area, they're real big. I mean, I know where there's mounds. Now I officially know where there's 6 mounds that have not been touched that I'm pretty sure nobody knows they're there. Well, 2 of them, the property owner, I think, knows they're there, and that's why they haven't bothered them because when they do the fields, they actually go around them. So the one guy was real nice about us going and checking out. So he knew that one was there. The other guy, I don't think he did. I just don't think he wanted to plow it over. He wasn't sure what was in it. Because when we went to his house and asked him about it, he was like, yeah, just go around it. I don't like going over it. It makes me uneasy, so I just plow around it. And I'm like, you know that's a mound, right? And he goes, is that what that is? And I said, yeah. Yeah, get some rest, dude. You've already had a busy night. Have a good night. I'm going to cut it short here pretty soon, too. So can't wait for Tuesday. You sleep well, too. Have a good slumber. And have a wonderful Sunday. And if I don't see you Monday in her premiere views, videos, uploads, whatever you want to call them, I'll see you Tuesday. I'll send you a link probably about 1:45, okay? Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful Sunday. We'll see you on the flip side there, sir. I'll probably go a little bit longer here. I was going to try to make it to at least 1:30. Like I said, it's been a crazy couple days. I haven't been running these streams too long because people, it gets later. And if you're watching the replays on these, Edna, I hope you're well. We've been thinking about you. I kind of miss you. Hope you're good, sweetie. Please take care of yourself. That's all that matters to me is you're taking care of yourself and healing. Lotus, I know you sometimes watch these. Praying for that little kitty cat, all your cats, and your whole family. So both of you, Pammy, please take care of yourself. Pixie, those who come in and watch my streams later, much love to you all. And those who are with me now, the last 5, hey, I appreciate you. 6, feel free to speak up. I don't do conversation about, well, I talk to myself, but when I know there's people watching, I don't like to. So, but yeah, that was a good video. Anybody's got recommendations for any of her stuff, just let me know. I'm almost done. Tomorrow night, I'm hoping to have the rest of her catalog put on Rumble too. So please don't be afraid to make it's free. Rumble's a little more relaxed about what we can say and do. I'd like to do a stream on there first, but I need to get on with her and figure some things out. So I need to sit with her one day and figure some things out about streaming. And because I think in some things she would do a lot better over there. She gets to keep all of her revenue and she gets to keep all of her tips, which is important because right now this is how she's making her living. Remember her books, they're all on Amazon. They're all great books. We got the premiere at 11. I'm sure she'll post that one tomorrow. And I believe, let me make sure. And I'll post what she's posting. Actually, she's got them both up now. So let's do this. Put this up. This is her video, her 11 o'clock video on Monday. This will be the 11 o'clock video for Monday, Violent Hauntings, which she told us about last night. This one should be a good one because I can tell you about some violent hauntings too. Maybe I'll do that Wednesday night. And then her other video That's the 11 o'clock. And then her noon is dun, dun, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Hold on. I lost it. No. And High Strangeness in the Forest is her noon video, which is right here. This is what it looks like. So you know. And I'm going to put myself up here. Good. And that's her video for Monday at the noon. All right, brother, it's time for me to get some rest, bud. I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, let me know if you got I know you got my email, so just send them and I will read them. And hopefully, if you get them to me soon, I'll read them before we talk Tuesday. You'll just give me more information, and Gemma will have to. It may be longer than an hour. If not, we'll just, if you want to come on Wednesday night and finish the conversation, we can do that too. We'll see how things go, and I'll leave that up to you. Thank you, sir, and I appreciate it. Yeah, sleep well. I think I just read that all over again. So get some rest. But this is our video for Monday. You last three folks, the last clue, I'm not in chat. So have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. Be well. And I will see you. If I don't see you in the chat rooms on Monday, hopefully I'll see you on Tuesday with me and Gemma and Ryan for Tuesday Talk. Please have a wonderful weekend, and I shall see you guys on the flip side. Wait, there's more people coming in. Hey, folks, if you're going to come in, I'm not going to log off. I'm not, I'm good to go. I'll stay on a little bit longer. If you're willing to come in and talk, give me something to talk about. Let me get rid of this here real quick. There we go. I'd love to have you all come in and talk. So I know other people stream and people coming and going and checking out their streams. I know SR is still streaming. I hope they're doing good. I haven't listened to Dave for a couple weeks. I haven't had time. I usually catch him on the radio if I can. I usually have him on in the background. So, well, if any of you five other people have not much to say, Monday at 11 and 12 for Gemma's premiere videos. And remember, her noon video will only be for everybody for 24 hours. Then it goes the members only. So try to catch that premiere. And we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you in chat. And the more members she gets, the more stuff she'll be able to do. Because she's got to build those numbers up before she could do any like real live streams for members only, member only content. So what she does is she premieres a video at noon and leaves it open for 24 hours, and then she members only it. And you pay for members only, and we want to make sure you guys get your content. But we got to get those numbers up a little bit to make it worth it. So please become a member. It's only a couple bucks. And help support the channel because we'd like to see her grow a little bit more. And like I said, I'm going to also slide us over to Rumble. Wednesday night, Ryan will be with us on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, if Tuesday goes really good and we having a really good conversation, Gemma tries to keep that stream about an hour because she's a busy woman. So if the conversation's still hot and everybody wants us to carry over and Ryan is free, maybe I'll have him join me with me on Wednesday night. Maybe we can sneak Vixen in here too, because I would love to have Vixen on. And hope everybody can come and join us. Good conversation. I like Ryan. He holds a good conversation. I like what the guy has to say. I've made it a point to go around when he's doing interviews to go check him out. He knows his stuff, like a lot of you do. And I'm very impressed with all you people. It's amazing what you guys know about things. So that's awesome. And I don't know what else to say. But I am going to go ahead and call it. Thanks for the people that did show up there at the last minute. I want you guys really to have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Enjoy your Sundays. I'd like to see you guys during the week. I'll be busy. I'll be here most of the week right here, either in the front or in the background. So, folks, I'll see you around, and I will see you on the flip side. Please have a wonderful day tomorrow, and I'll see you all very